Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode with me. This is your safe and intentional space wherein we speak about our inner world and how it has the impact on the life that we live on the outside, right? So, I'm so happy to have you all with me on this video and walked with me on the videos that we've already looked into in the past, right? I hope these videos have shed some sort of a light or some sort of an understanding and given you some sort of a takeaway to be employed in your own life for making it a little more meaningful and impactful, right? So, till now, we've actually spoken about how when we get into this survival mode, the very first step of noticing and understanding it that we are in the survival mode is the beginning of shifting out from it. That is why I keep saying that awareness is our superpower, right? So, awareness is the one that stops this autopilot mode. And slowly, when we slow down by the process of deep breathing, right, we actually signal our nervous system that it is safe and it is ready for a reset, right? So that is what we have spoken in general about in all of these videos, um, in the most crisp manner that I can say, right? So we've also learned that our brain is not a stubborn machine, right? It is a beautiful learning machine which has a beautiful capacity to be adaptable by the process of neuroplasticity, right? But the thing about our brain is we need to speak it in the right way. We need to talk to it, or we need to know how to talk to it in the right manner, right? Because, like any other friend, right, our brain also understands only when you give it simple commands, right? Because our brain is like a very smart puppy, but even the smartest puppy requires some sort of training, isn't it? If we do not give it clear and simple commands, the puppy will go around chewing everything that it sees. Similarly, the brain can chew our peace, our focus, and our energy. So, today we are going to be focusing on how to talk to our brain by three simple steps that I have personally used in my very own life, which I wanted to share across. And I also wanted to be very clear about this, right? Mm, it may not be that you are exactly using the same method that I am putting out here, right? You could probably use one aspect of it because or some other, you can use you can use some other technique, but take something away from this video. So that is each one's personal journey, right? And this process of self discovery is actually that is very personal to each one of us. We need to walk it through it and have our own realizations and understand life in our way, which is beneficial for each one of us. But why am I? The intention with which I'm creating these videos is very, very simple but very passionate, right? I'm creating these videos because back when I was having a lot of doubts, when I wanted to transform a lot of things inside me, but I didn't know the way to do it. I never had a proper way or something that is said for me to, figure out and make myself feel better, right? So in course of time, as I started walking the journey slowly and steadily, I figured out certain things, and that is exactly what I am doing across in these videos. Slowly and steadily bring the ABCs, right, and put it across in this in my videos on YouTube, so that that one person who is meandering through life with a lot of questions in their head have some sort of a roadmap, some sort of a support through my videos. It may not be that you're going to use exactly the same thing, but at least an awareness can set in through my videos, is the intention with which I put across all of these things, right? So today we are going to be talking about three simple steps of how to talk to our brain, right? So let's dive into it. So the first step is to tell your brain to stop. Stop. And when I am doing this stop, and if you're viewing this video, I would really request you all to even do this action along with me. And why do I say that is because until and unless you do the action, the brain does not take it seriously. And if you want to evolve in a very beautiful manner, these sort of practices need to be practiced, right? And it is like learning any lesson in your school. When you have to learn an answer, you make conscious effort to sit and learn each and every one of those words repeatedly, right? Similarly, if you want to learn any new skill, you need to perform the actions to learn that skill. Similarly, this is also a life skill. We need to learn it. So when I'm telling you to do that action is only because your brain gets the signal that you're serious with whatever you're doing, right? So the first step is stop. So what do I mean by the stop? Whenever you're in any overwhelming situation, right? Be it exams or any sort of deadlines are coming up, or your own presentation, or fight with your friend, or even just some sort of sorrows that you're going through on this repeated autopilot mode, you tell your brain to stop immediately. Tell stop, right? If you're facing a situation with one of your friends or that person made you angry, for example, right? You don't go into a conversation in your head telling that, that person did that to me, so I am right in my situation, my emotions are correct, he or she is wrong. We don't have to get into all of that. The first thing that you have to do is to tell your brain to stop, because what we all need to understand at that point is we are in a stressful situation. Harboring these emotions, which is anger, nervousness, or whatever those unhealthy emotions, right? Harboring those things is not going to be beneficial for us. So first we learn to come out of that emotion, right? So instead of blaming any situation, instead of getting into a conversation of why that person is wrong and we are right, all we have to tell our brain to do at this point in time is to stop, right? When you stop, you are that awareness sets in and it stops the autopilot mode. Then what do? You slow down and take a deep breath, like we spoke about in the previous episode, right? One deep inhale and one deep exhale, right? You're already setting in that feeling of feeling better, right? Okay. Then what are we doing at this point in time? We are stopping the autopilot mode, wherein the amygdala starts to run on this frenzy mode, right? It starts or switches on the mechanism of fight, flight, and freeze mechanism, right? And then the hippocampus comes into the picture, which is the brain's library, and activates all those memories, which brings in only fears and doubts, right? And the prefrontal cortex is gone, which is the wise decision maker, is gone to the back seat, right? So when you step into this picture, all you have to tell your brain is to stop. And when you do that one intentional, okay, stop, a deep breath out and deep in and deep breath out will help you come into, will slowly start redirecting your brain to the balance point, right? So this gives the opportunity for your prefrontal cortex part of the brain to sneak in slowly into the picture. Okay, so the first step is like stop, right? It is like the traffic light signal. The first step, red, okay, the stop. Okay, have I made sense till now? Second step is the yellow in the traffic light signal, wherein we slow down and name it. What do we name it? What does this mean? We are actually noticing what's happening inside us and naming it. Like, we are going through a situation, we fought with our friend. So we are angry with our friend. So what are we feeling right now? We are feeling anger. Name it. Tell it out loud, right? When you're telling it out loud, what happens is that when you're naming it, naming is like sort of taming, okay? When you're naming it out loud, your amygdala gets the information that, oh, that is the particular emotion that we are dealing with. Okay, at least I know it. Because your brain works with familiarity. The language of your brain is familiarity. Okay, anything that it does not know, it gets hyper, it gets confused. So when you name something, it is like as if shedding the light on that particular emotion. When that emotion is seen, right, your brain automatically calms down, right? So when you're naming something, it's like you're taming it. So you're taming yourself at that point in time. Ah, okay, I'm feeling anger. I'm feeling frustration right now. All right. Okay. And what action do you do at this point in time? Is like this. Let me just show it to you. Holding your head and your heart simultaneously, right? So it is like as if you're taming something that is going through some sort of an uneasiness, but holding it here and here, you're actually, telling that you're there for yourself. So it's sort of creating a safe zone for your brain and for your heart, right? And internally, you're also naming the emotion. So that again is creating a safety zone for your brain internally. Okay. So when you start doing these actions, right, it becomes even more impactful, right? Because your brain is now rewiring for something that it has not known for many, many years ago, right? So that is the reason why these actions, doing all of these things with actions, is a requisite, right? Okay. So this is the aspect of it which is to slow down, pause, right? And name it. Okay. So this is the second step. And the third step, we redirect. What does that mean? It is like the green in the traffic light signal. Okay. That means you're ready to take the next best possible step that there is after you have calmed yourself down. That next best possible step could probably just be drinking a sip of water or stretching yourself, right? Smiling, or even just taking a deep breath. Okay, we don't have to know everything in that moment, but at least you are intentionally creating a space wherein you're moving to the next step with peace, clarity, and confidence instead of moving to the next step from a place of panic. That is what this redirect actually means. Okay, so what happens with redirection? Your prefrontal cortex that was slowly sneaking in comes into the picture, right? When it comes into the picture, it is actually assessing the situation like it should assess, right? And make you take the next possible step. And amygdala now has completely calmed down. Okay, so we are not in the mercy of our emotions anymore, right? And the hippocampus now becomes a super buddy to the prefrontal cortex. And this uh, hippocampus, what it does is now, because the circuit system of that autopilot mode is stopped, so the hippocampus is not running and activating the memories of fears and doubts. Because the prefrontal cortex has come into the picture, now it is slowly activating what you're teaching it at that point in time by the process of neuroplasticity. So you're teaching your brain to be safe. So it is carefully creating that path now. Okay. So this is a new practice, something new that your brain doesn't know. So now this hippocampus is helping helping to receive information from the neuroplastic property that the brain is creating through these practices that you are doing every day. Okay, so this is what happens in the redirect. So this action that I have done is like, you take a deep breath and you exhale, isn't it? That action of exhale like this, that is called redirect. It's like making yourself ready for moving to the next possible step. So what are the three steps that we spoke about today? First is to stop, second one is to name it, third one is to redirect, right? So when we start doing all of these things regularly in course of time, this becomes very second nature to us, just like how it has become for me, right? Like I told you, it is a life skill that we all need to develop, we all need to start practicing. So let's just put in a little bit more effort, little bit more patience, and little bit more time on this, because even to train a puppy you need patience and time, right? And in course of time, it just does everything. Your relationship with the puppy becomes so smooth. Similarly, once you start investing in your own brain, in your own system, in your own body, by knowing all of these languages, your brain and your system and you yourself become a buddy to each other over the course of time. And whenever you're facing any sort of a situation, you wouldn't face it like how you had faced it the previous time ago. Now, because of the new neuronal pathways, you are facing the situation in a very different way. So, literally, you're rewiring your brain, and that rewiring is actually changing the hormones inside you. It is actually changing who you are. So, let's remember that though these steps may be looking very simple, it is a very powerful process to your own journey of evolution, right? So let us train our brain for the beautiful, incredible tool that it is, and we'll see how beautifully our life transforms. Yes. So I hope today's episode, though I think was simple, has given and shed some light on how we go about by these difficult situations that comes across us. So by doing all of these things, what I have in course of time back then when I learned it and then I slowly became good at it, I was like, okay, you know what, life throw things at me, no problem, I'm ready to face it because I have the necessary tools to face it, right? So that is exactly my intention through these videos. We all shouldn't feel like we are a victim to the situation, but we can rise above the situation. And how to rise above the situation is by knowing all of these things. First one, awareness is the most important thing. Second one, how to do it. So we know the hows now, that is breathing and these three simple mudras. Wow, that's interesting. That so instead of actions, I said mudras. Mudras are, those hand gestures in a dance. So yeah, let's call it mudras, isn't it? Okay, so these three mudras and your breathing is how you are saved from any situation that life throws at you. And I hope you start employing these things whenever you are faced with any situation. I'm sure in course of time you will see how beautifully you see the difference in your life. Okay, and that is personal to each and every individual, and I would love you all to start practicing it. And if you see any changes, I would love you all to comment on the comment section if you found out any changes in course of time, right? So I love you all. You all take care. I will meet you all in the very next episode. Until then, I'm sending you all love from my heart.